Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Okay, I should probably be on the stream. What up, everybody? Welcome to Ashton Forbes' stream. Happy Monday, guys. Good evening. Staycation Jason, I see you, brother. How you doing? I am going to be talking about, first of all, who is excited for November 13th, guys. November 13th, everybody gets an alien. Any kind of alien you want, we are going to have, the best aliens. It's not even President Trump's candidacy yet. He is not even inaugurated till next year. But you know what? We're just going to get right ahead of it. Aliens are real. Everybody on left-wing UFO Twitter, there you go. Your wildest dreams are coming true. Yay! Hey, Bernie. Hey, everybody in the chat. How's it going? Let's roll. Okay, let's just be real here for a second. These hearings coming up on November in 2 days from tonight. We've got the list of people. Last stream on Friday, we were talking about them. We have, let's do a quick rundown. Lou Elizondo. We got Tim Gallaudet. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. We've got Mike Gold, I think his name is. He's a NASA and Bigelow Aerospace executive guy. And then we've got Michael Schellenberger. Those are our 4 witnesses we've got. Imagine one day we have Salvatore Paez, Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Ashton Forbes. That's the fucking dream team. Imagine that team at a UFO congressional hearing, guys. Let's just go ahead and imagine it right now. Let's do it right now. Okay, chat. If anyone wants to pretend like you are a congressman and you can ask a quasi-real question, or it can just be a real question if you want as well. Go ahead right now. Otherwise, I'm just going to speculate. Okay? So this is how I think it's going to play out. Let's run down. First, what we'll do is we'll run down through the senators. Well, I don't even know if they're going to do a Senate here. Let's just run down through the congressmen who are part of the UFO hearing themselves and what they're going to ask, okay? Yeah, a lot of people pointing out they're going to mention stuff about a skiff. Let's just play around the skiff thing, okay? Let's play around the skiff thing. Good question. Good point. People point out that people in the past were Scientologists or whatever. So what? Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. He's still like one of the biggest actors in the world. Okay. So they're going to run, like, what do you guys think they're going to ask? They're definitely going to ask a bunch of questions about alien bodies and crash retrievals and who's running it, stuff like that. When they say who's running it, they're going to say, I can't give names here in the public. Something like that. They're going to avoid that. They're going to say that, okay, let's run down. So Moshowitz, he's a question mark. I don't really know exactly what line of questioning he's going to ask. It's probably going to not be very inspiring, would be my guess, but I hope he proves me wrong. Then Annapolina Luna last time asked some pretty decent questions. So maybe she'll ask like what kind of organizations These are under. If they ask a question like the organizations, where can we follow the money? The answer is you're never going to find it. It's in umbrella organizations. They have some letter designation like they all do, 101(3)(c) or whatever, right? But one of these umbrella corporations, you're never going to find the money. Next question. If they ask if aliens are real, Lou Elizondo's going to say, I know for a fact aliens are real. Okay, I've seen the magic. I've seen the Ambassador Bijou, shook hands with him. Great. Here's the thing that you should remember when they say that the aliens are real, right? This is for Congress. They have one hand out in front. No, hold on. I'm too tall, chat. They got one hand out in front. Well, I'm too tall. Okay. They have one hand out in front, and they're showing you that aliens are real. Then in the other hand behind them, they're hiding the technology. They're saying, we can't talk about the technology. She's suppressing info himself. Now I want to skip and show a clip real quick. Right here. Because I'm going to snip this and I'm going to make this. How do I? Hold on. This is going to be like a clip I'm going to use over and over and over again. Shit. Sorry, chat. I haven't downloaded it yet. Here's Tim Gallaudet. Oh, I also wanted to change my thing. Hold on, chat. Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm not going to mess with this right now. Okay. Let's see what Tim Gallaudet is going to say. He talked to Ross Coulthart. Of course, it dropped today. Like, chat, one thing I want you to understand is that all of these people are connected to one another. They actually are. So I came into this knowing nothing about any of these people or any of this stuff going on here. And I found out there's a group of people. They seem to be predominantly left-wing. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and brand them as left-wing. Why? Because they have some weird connection also being like all of left-wing UFO Twitter. But it turns out, yep, they all know each other and they're all pushing the same narrative. They've all got the same narrative, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. In America, you're allowed to disagree. You're allowed to form weird little left-wing UFO alien cliques. That's fine. But the thing that's bizarre is that they're all pushing, oh, aliens are real. But that's not the only thing they're saying. They're also saying this.
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know. And
sorry, is this clipped out of context, chat? Sorry, chat. Am I bad with technology? Was that clipped out of context? I couldn't believe the words I was hearing from Tim Gallaudet out of his mouth right here. The same guy that didn't really know what NROL 22 is, Cyber system, satellites. I don't know anything about any of those fancy flying satellite thingies. I'm just a rear admiral from the Navy. Come on, man. I want to start that over. I need to hear it again.
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that.
Let's not. Did he not mean to put the not in there? Let's not disclose the technology UAP-wise?
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public...
We don't want that to go to the American public? Well, darn willikers, everybody. No technology for you. Sorry, guys. Tim Gallaudet says, no technology for the American people. We don't want that. I think he's telling the truth right there. I don't think he's lying. Am I the only one that watched that and went, what the fuck? What are you talking about? The whole point is to give us a damn technology. That's the point. We don't want to be cows anymore. We're done being cattle. Thank you. Finally, someone. They're just literally treating us like slaves openly in this scripted, choreographed interview that's been set up ahead of the time between Ross Coulthart and Tim Gallaudet, because they're all in a little group of people that are like the adorned people. You're in the group. What the hell? Jesus. It's actually real. Okay, we're going to listen to it one more time because I want to make sure everybody doesn't miss the words coming out of Tim Gallaudet's mouth right here. I'm going to go full screen on it. We're going to go full screen.
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know, and that the Defense Department and the intelligence community has realized and has evidence of. That's not fair to the American public or the global citizenry at large. So I think this is what has to come out. Let's not disclose the classified information.
I'm sorry. What? These guys are fucking retards, chat. They're retards. Four Orbs fam, let me be real right now. Let me get close. Do they really think, we're getting real close. Do they really think that we're just gonna disclose aliens? Hey guys, we can tell you about aliens and ooh, the universe is real fancy and stuff, but gravity manipulation technologies? No, that's just like we far off aliens. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Ooh, you didn't see anything. Ooh, Jedi mind trick. Nothing to see here. What the? Do they really think that they're gonna try to hoodwink us like that? They really think so? I look at his face, chat. Look at his face. He really thinks that they're going to just disclose, oh, yeah, the universe is like way more complicated than we really understand, but mainstream science is still totally correct. Like, just keep going with that. Just keep going with it. I can't believe that they are so arrogant. And this is not just Tim Gallaudet, the good rear admiral. By the way, I respect the military, but Jesus Christ, this psyop you're playing on us right now. I mean, this psyop, this bullshit you're trying to pull where you got these guys come out together and have it all look official and be like, yeah, there's some weird stuff going on and it's totally real. You're like, can you show us any of the technology and this stuff you're talking about? Like, if I see a floating flying saucer, if you wheel out an anti-gravity flying saucer, and I can be assured that what I'm looking at is a real thing. Okay, all said and done, you win. 0-point energy is real. All the technology is real. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Then you can start talking to me about the manted people are in like some type of race war against like the reptilians or some other insectoids. Whatever makes more sense for you guys. But I don't really want to talk about the aliens and if they love us or if they hate us or any of that other bullshit until you show me the flying saucers that are able to transdimensionally or whatever the fuck teleport from here to the Andromeda Galaxy. Because until you can explain to me where the energy is coming from for that technology to teleport from our galaxy, you know what? Our star to the nearest star, Alpha Centauri. You just show me something that can do that, and then we can talk about the aliens. So I think it's just crazy, man. actually crazy that I think their real plan is that they're gonna hide the gravity technology. They're gonna hide the gravity technology. Like, nope, just keep going with normal physics, guys. They'll figure it out eventually. And they're gonna hide the free energy. Like, yeah, free energy ain't possible. Technically true. 0-point energy is, but don't talk about that. Never talk about 0-point energy. That was one of the things that bugged me the most early on, was that Dr. Greer was the only one. Maybe there's some other people as well. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not trying to put down the other people in the UFO community who've been trying hard. So, guys, when I make fun of the UFO community, no, it's everybody except for you guys. You guys are cool. But everybody who's not, cool, basically. What I noticed, though, was that Greer was the only one talking about 0-point energy. All the others were aligned. They were never talking about it. It was weird. I didn't know if he was just like, was it something he was making up or what have you? I had no idea. And a year ago, I'd had no idea. I still would have had no idea. I had no idea what 0-point energy was. Then I dug into it after seeing those videos and everything. Oh, okay, 0-point energy is 100% real, and we are just, I don't know why we're ignoring it. We're just like waiting for science to get better. Like, literally, that's what we're doing. But then it turns out, well, that's, if there is an energy source that aliens, which are, I'm for certainly laughing at us. Like, we are actually just cattle. Like, we literally are cattle. We literally are slaves. Like, it's funny, but it's also funny because it's true. That's the energy source that they're using. That's the energy source. It's got to be 0-point energy. End of debate. Well, won it in the first round, chat. Like, that's where it is. And this doesn't mean that Greer's all right either, guys. Like, one thing that people really have to get outside their paradigm of is that we get so tribal. Oh, I like that one thing about that guy. He's the worst or whatever, right? Like, we have to get away from that. Why do we strive to be that way? Why are we so tribalistic? And I was trying to decide, oh, that person's good or that person's bad, whatever. If AOC, by the way, AOC impressed the hell out of me last UFO hearing. So I'm going to be looking forward to what AOC has to say at this UFO hearing. If she comes out and says anything about 0-point energy, I'll vote Democrat. I'll vote Democrat. There you go. I said it. There's lots of people watching this stream. Shit. I'm actually scared now. She actually looks at social media sometimes, so I don't know if I should have said that. Fuck. But no, truth is, how do we win? How do we win? Like, this is the thing we have to think about here. We'll come back and talk about more of the November 13th UFO hearing, which I'm planning on live streaming. But what is we have to figure out, how do we get disclosure of 0-point energy, this technology, whatever our goals are for disclosure in general. Obviously, these people think that I think they've come to a similar conclusion where they believe that we have to wake people up, the consciousness of people, to be more willing to understand this technology and this universe. And when we do that, we'll achieve some kind of nirvana or something like that. I think that's what they think. PJ Mike, happy Veterans Day. Yes, thank you. I'm not a veteran, but thank you everybody out there for your service. Appreciate you guys. I really do. For us, with 0-point energy, we just have to make people aware of it. We have to speed it up. Speed up the collective conscious. So we have to literally just bring awareness to it, because it's one of those things that once somebody looks at it, takes a hard, honest look at it, they'll realize, oh, it's real. Yeah, when we're talking about something that's real. So How do you disclose something that's real, that's out there? Well, you say, here's all the physics, here's all the science, here's all the history of it as well. There you go. And have them look. And then you, like in my streams, you explain it in simple analogous concepts for them. You say, Isaac Newton thought he was really smart. I'm just making fun. Isaac Newton thought he was the smartest man in the world. And then he had this idea of gravitation. And then Albert Einstein came in and he was like, haha, you thought you were smart? I'm like the smartest smart. I've got general relativity and it fixes all your problems with your gravitation. It makes it even better. Oh, but then he thought he would be the biggest brain. Albert Einstein. Nobody could big brain the big brain. But then like dozens of physicists and engineers came in and they got the technology from the aliens or whatever the hell people want to believe. I don't know. We got some technology and it turns out general relativity. Sorry, general relativity. You got to understand quantum mechanics. So now we've come up with 0-point energy. 0-point energy. It is the answer, the great unifier. 0-point energy will unify us. Everybody who wanted to name themselves after the God particle or whatever, sorry, it's already 4 orbs particle. 4 orbs particle it is because it's a popularity contest. And I've got the most followers. 4 orbs particle it is, chat. I just want that to be into some textbooks. The 4 orbs particle. Only you guys watching right now will understand the joke. Nobody else will ever get it. Okay, but AOC last time did ask about where the money was. Smart question. She wasn't distracted by the aliens. She was smart enough not to be distracted by the aliens, which was surprising because she seems kind of stupid. But maybe she's actually kind of smart up there. We'll find out. Okay. Let's just skip to Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is a lovely woman. And I have the most hope for Nancy Mace. I've never heard her talk about anything related to aliens ever. If she starts fangirling out about aliens, I am done with Congress forever. Nancy Mace, not to throw more on your shoulders, but I am done with Congress forever if you start fangirling out about aliens. Not that my endorsement really matters, but I did endorse Donald Trump with my 200,000 followers. And I get to throw, I don't know, 5, I can't remember. I think he said 6 UFO Twitter disclosure advocates into the gulags. Donald Trump sent me a letter, said, Ashton Forbes, greatest endorsement. You are the best UFO disclosure advocate. For your endorsement, when we institute the Project 2025, we will let you throw 6 UFO Twitter disclosure advocates into the gulags of your choosing. He said, doesn't matter if they're anonymous, we can find them. And I was like, damn, that's the greatest endorsement ever. Ever. We could clean up social media. Like, that would be all it took. That'd be all it took. That's how easy we can clean up society. Just that fast. Okay. Now, you guys want to make a bet on who I'm picking? Okay. Now, Nancy Mace probably going to ask some smart questions. I expect her to ask kind of like how to track down the companies or what have you. A lot of the smart people are going to be trying to dig into the money, but like I said before, impossible. Okay. Let's go to Eric Burleson. Okay. I haven't posted this interview yet, but it's been public. It was on the radio on Saturday or what have you. I have a link. I'll probably post it later tonight or tomorrow. And in the interview, it is pretty obviously made aware that both of us know Eric Burleson. That's how I got in touch with the interviewer. So that's cool. So I just want to make this disclaimer that Congressman Burleson and I's relationship is purely related to UFO phenomenon, let's just call it. Everything that I'm doing for any sakes of any federal people watching, it's a LARP, should be considered a LARP. Should be considered a LARP. This is all just for entertainment purposes only. But I like Eric Burleson, and because he has asked questions related to science. And I think part of the reason why he entertains my thoughts at all are that I focus on the science, because that is the way to disclosure. Waking people up, making people aware of what we're capable of as a civilization right now on this planet. Not 1,000 years from now, but right now. And so I'm hoping he asks physics questions. He's the one I've got the most money on. Like, if there were odds right now, if we had the odds going, Congressman Burleson's at the top when it comes to, is he going to ask like a quantum mechanics question? My standard still is, like, my bar is down here, guys. My bar is lower than the sea of energy. Sea of energy, equilibrium. My bar, Ashton's bar for the congressional hearings, all-time low. Just ask a science question and you'll basically get an applause out of me. You'll get my approval. That's like the most I need. You start talking about which aliens are the hottest, or their biology, or their stupid shit that I just don't care about at all. That's how you get on Ashton's naughty list. So, one thing I'm hoping for them to avoid, though, is this trap. There's this pitfall. We're playing Prince of Persia out here, and the prince jumped and fell into the pit. Oh, no, you didn't hit the space bar at the right time. That's what a lot of these congressmen are doing. Oh, the interdimensional aliens. What? It'd be like if you rolled up for Thanksgiving and your family's like, oh, look, it's interdimensional Ashton. You're like, what do you mean interdimensional? I just drove here. They're like, yeah, but you like traversed through space-time to get here. You're like, shut the fuck up, dude. I just drove, like, it was 10 miles. It was 10 miles. Right? Like, who cares? Like, we don't call things interdimensional just because, like, that's how their mode of transportation might work. Like, that doesn't actually, that doesn't matter. They're still, like, in our universe somewhere if they're a biological being. Now, if it's like, if literally a ball of plasma appears out of nowhere and starts talking to me, then I will say, and you know what? It can be telepathic. Even if it was telepathic, if it's communicating with me, okay, it's interdimensional. It's interdimensional. You got it, interdimensional. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. If these balls of plasma, these EVOs, these self-sustaining balls of plasma are conscious in any way, shape, or form, it's not how, like, you or I are conscious. It's closer to like how a plant or a fish might be conscious. It's like, oh, okay, something's there, but it's not going to have like a philosophical debate with you. Okay. God, you know what, chat? One more time. Where is it? God, I just can't believe he said this, chat. I just look at him. These guys they give away the game because they're not great at social media. They're not great at public appearances or anything like that. And usually they're just telling the truth. And so when they lie, they kind of just say when they lie. It's like, oh, okay. Got it. So it's like, like Luozondo, I can't tell you. It's a secret. What if they had free energy? You're like, oh, okay. Oh, so that's the whole thing. Free energy is the thing. You're like, why are you using that as an example if that's not the science? That's a pretty weird. It's a weirdly specific. Oh wait, hold on. Shit, wrong button. Lou Elizondo used the free energy as the example for the technology that we couldn't be allowed to be given because it's so dangerous. That was the example Lou Elizondo used. So, dude, why are you using that example? Like, oddly specific example that has been brought up several times before in relation to the UFO phenomenon. Oh, no reason. No, that part's made up. But okay, here we go. We can't give you the science.
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know, and that the Defense Department and the intelligence community has realized and has evidence of.
So this is the part where, honestly, guys, you know what, chat? I hate this clip so much. Please make this clip go viral. I hate this clip. I'm going to retweet this clip the moment I'm done with this. In fact, the moment I'm done with this live stream, I'm downloading this and I'm just editing just the part here at the beginning where he talks about we're not going to give you the technology. And also, he might be an alien. This is what I'm saying, guys. They look like us. What if they look like us and Tim Gallaudet is actually an alien hiding this technology? I can't believe you just out in the open. I'm okay with not giving you the technology. Sorry, we're going to let these people hide that. Like, this goes and show you that those guys are not the good guys. They are the bad guys hiding the technology from the people. Literally just says it. One more time. I honestly can't believe this is real, chat.
Not disclose the classified. Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know. And
okay, that's it, chat. I'm switching sides. I'm not on the side of disclosure anymore. I'm on the side of keeping it secret now. Whatever the side's opposite of that guy's side. Which side is the opposite of Tim Gallaudet's side? I don't even know. It's kind of confusing now, but I'm on the opposite of his side now. Like, what your argument is, like, okay, yeah, we can tell you some stuff, but not this stuff back here. This is like too good for you. This is too good for you. That's actually the attitude, guys. That's the attitude I get. I hate these people so much. I hate them. That's just, sorry, here's a baseball. Go play with this baseball. No, you can't have this. This is just like too good for you. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, are you gonna go play with that by yourself? Like, you got a whole Nintendo console there and video games. You're telling me to go play with the baseball? Like, yeah, sorry. And you're like, what the hell? It's not too good for you. It's just too good for the rest of us. Yeah, pretty much. That's what's going on here. Yeah, that's exactly how they sound, right? See, I tapped into it for a second, but that is exactly how they sound. It is so ridiculous how high up on their horses are. Did you see them? Like, and here's another thing, guys. If you're showing up to this UFO hearing, my God, first of all, why? But you can watch it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be televised. I'm like 99% sure there's some kind of live stream. Everything's gotta be live streamed. That's where I'm gonna be watching it. And these people are acting like they're celebrities. Like they're celebrities. I got more followers than they do, most of them on Twitter. Like, oh, it's the UFO disclosure. I want to be here for history when it comes down. Man, if you knew the real history, you'd be like, it's been secret for 80 years. People have come and gone, whole lives passed where nothing's really been accomplished. Nothing's ever really gotten out to the public. These people have had discoveries they've never got credit for. And you want to come out here and you want to jump out of the front of the line as some kind of UFO influencer guy and be like, I need the credit for being here. It's like that pretty much sums up the UFO community to me. My God. Best part is no disclosures happening. Whoa. Hello. Let me hit up some of these donations here. Rules for thee and not for me. Andy Delafield. Thank you, brother. Wow, that's crazy. That's U.S. money. Wow, guys. Thank you. That is a huge donation. But yes, rules for thee and not for me. That's what it feels like with this UFO disclosure thing. That seems to be what this all comes back down to. All these people who are these whistleblowers are all privileged people. None of them really have a lot of hardship. And they're all just looking after themselves. That's the truth. That's the true nature of humanity, is selfishness. And that's why capitalism works so well. Capitalism is a system designed around our true humanity of selfishness. So, end of the day, how do we get UFO disclosure? Eric Burleson is the one who I have the highest probability of asking the question, what's the energy source? If you're a true American, that should be the only question, because your goal should be to what is the impact of this UFO stuff on my district? On my district. Eric Burleson represents the district in Missouri, a district in Missouri, not a liar. And he should be trying to figure out, how can the lives of the people in my district that I represent get better based on this? How does aliens improve their lives? It doesn't. That's a waste of time. What's not a waste of time is if there is a fuel source called 0 point energy that can make it so that we can have solar and wind power everywhere without solar and wind all the time. That would serve his district. Because now, here's the best part. Pay attention, chat. We can start up a new economy, a new industry, and a new way of life built around the way that we want. Why? No dependence on government. If you can have a generator that can just produce energy, you can live anywhere. Now, land might be one of the most important things, because your free energy can solve a lot of your problems. And then, as it gets better and better, you'll have no problems anymore. But that's probably not in our lifetime. Who knows, though? I didn't think teleportation and we'd have this in our lifetime. So maybe they're holding out even more than that. But now, if you're in some area in Missouri and you want a new industry to compete, what's stopping you from being the best 0 point energy producer, or any of the industries that are going to come from 0 point energy existing? Bitcoin mining. They should be whole companies built around just mining Bitcoin. Look at the price of it now, 87,000. Tim looks like an alien. Oh, did we already roasted him? But yes, thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for your donation. Okay. Well, I had to go sidebar for that donation, guys. Loved it. Okay, well, lots of messages behind. Okay. Want to say I love you guys as well in the chat. I haven't said thank you to MH370X enough, so I want to thank you guys right now. Appreciate you guys. Okay, Tim Burchett. Next person in the hearing. There's only a couple left. He's my dark horse. He's buddy with all these weirdo left-wing UFO disclosure people. But he might be that fake buddy. Like, you say hi to him, but you don't hang out with him. Like, you go say hi to him, but like, you're going to go get lunch with your other friends. You guys think that Tim Burchett's played that card on Jeremy Corbell? I bet you he has. I bet you anything, guys. I might have just made up fake beef that's actually real. What if Tim Burchett's just high-roaded Jeremy Corbell? Like, sorry, I can't make lunch. I've got to go hang out with my other friends, but he didn't really have anything else to do. He just didn't want to hang out with them. Oh, that would be brutal, chat. That would be brutal. I hope that ends up being real, chat. I hope I willed that into existence. Okay, but yes, I think Tim Burchett might ask some solid questions. Matt Gaetz. Okay, let's watch a quick clip from Matt Gaetz from last year. Matt Gaetz, I have the highest, let's call it wild card chance. Let's call it wild card chance.
In a clear diamond formation for which there is a radar sequence that I alone have observed in the United States Congress. One of the pilots goes to check out that diamond formation and sees a large floating, what I can only describe as an orb. Again, like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of. And when he approached, he said.
So that's where he made his mistake, though. He says, not any human capability that he's aware of. This is the part where in just 1 year, I would say me, but really all of us, MH370X, everybody is just leapfrogged ahead of Matt Gaetz' understanding of all this. This is where it's so easy to get them tricked because nobody understands the physics is real. So if you understand the physics is real, of course, you're going to call it like alien technology. Once you understand the physics, you're like, it's not alien technology, it's just how the universe works. Like, this is that, like, I'm going to play it again.
Like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of.
This is like somebody showing you fire and you being like, whoa, look at that alien technology. How did you make that fire? Whoa, it was that alien technology. And they're like, that's a lighter. It's called a lighter and matches. So there you go. Here's some alien technology for you. Like, this is just the most primitive possible response that you could say right there. If you're not a primitive, then you watch some video with some orbs going around, your non-primitive answer would be, is this using a zero-point energy approach to physics? I mean, you don't have to say it in those exact words if you don't understand zero-point energy, but like that's how your mind should be working. The dull, primitive mind goes, ooh, me caveman. Ooh, me fire, hot. Ooh, what is zap? Me get zap. Zap, zap, zap. Ooh, fire, zap me. And you're like, no, that's not fire. That's like, it's electricity. Ooh, this fire, zap, good. You know, like we're still kind of dumb here. Like eventually we'll get to the part where we've all accepted zero-point energy is real and we can ask like, make, you know, smarter comments because we're never getting to disclosure if we are constantly dealing with this concept of like, oh, it's just aliens out there. We can't understand physics. We can't understand physics. It's just too smart for us. Oh, look, Matt. Yeah, guys, check out. Hey, so this is actually a good segue. And by the way, I like Matt Gaetz too, but I got a little hard on these guys because honestly, like we need to get, if we really want disclosure, we got to hurry it up. Like this plan of aliens is never working out. Okay. I was just on with Matt on his podcast, so you can actually probably just click on his name right here in the chat, here, wherever it is. So wherever your chat is, click on his name and follow and like and subscribe. He's had some really awesome people on, and I just had a great conversation with him. Treated me like a king while I was out there. It was awesome. Appreciate it. And when that drops, you guys are going to want to watch it because I have moved more into talking about physics and science. Mostly because I've caught up. And if you're somebody who's been watching the live streams, then you've been catching up too. As we've been going down this journey. Thank you for that comment. That's very nice of you. As we've been going down this comment or this journey, as we've been going down this journey of self-discovery on physics, science, conspiracies, yeah, and even aliens as well. So Matt and I actually talked about the congressional hearings. We talked about aliens, UFO stuff, talked about the plane. We talked about everything. Talked about it all. So I'm curious to see, after the hearings how my comments looked then. Now, the one dark horse in this, well, let's go to Schellenberger first. So November 13th hearing, Schellenberger, why is he even there? No idea. I will confirm tomorrow with you guys that I'm going to go live during the hearing. I got to make sure I can take time off work. Shouldn't be a problem, but if I have a meeting, I might not be able to do it. But yeah, I really do want to do the live stream of this hearing. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Wow, look at my voice. So the Matt podcast was awesome. Great guy. Fun guy to talk to. And Ryan, his producer as well. Awesome. It's funny that I think that the best podcasts generally, like, I end up talking to the producers a lot as well, just because I like talking to people. It's a lot of fun. Now, also, real quick, let's go back to. Let's watch a little bit of my appearance on the Hodge twins. Which clip should we play here? I don't know which clip I like the most. Let's watch some of this. This one's 20 minutes. We're not going to watch this whole thing. Because you guys know the whole story. We're going to skip ahead of some of this. That didn't happen. And then the Americans give them this flapper on, and they put it in the water and they weigh it down so it kind of sticks out of the water. And they go, oh, states in the UK are going to control for another 99 years. It's like the perfect location where the debris could have been thrown in the water, for example, to wash ashore in Africa. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say, what do you think happened to this plane? I go, well, there's this military base that's super secret in the Indian Ocean here where nobody's allowed to visit, and there's all this sketchy stuff happening to it. Mm-hmm. If that plane ended up there and they just ripped it apart, threw some in the water, there you go. That debris is going to be washing up where we found it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think this was probably my best podcast today. Funny is I haven't even rewatched it myself, but now I was listening to that and I was sure to talk about the debris right away. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, brother. And again, make sure you guys check out Matt, click on his link. Because honestly, my conversation with Matt was in a very similar vein, I would say, with the Hodge twins. But Matt was just like on the ball with the right questions. So, and I could tell he was like with me, and we just had a great conversation. This really is just a matter of propaganda, the MH370 case. Like, people just go, oh, they found a couple pieces of debris. Wrap up. Case closed. Case closed, guys. Like, man, we have to be the worst investigators ever. They'd be like, we found two fingers from Ashton. Obviously, he was brutally murdered by a psychotic ex-girlfriend. And you're like, who is he dating? And like, don't know. It doesn't matter. It's like, obviously, we found a couple fingers, guys. It's like, they just build up this whole fake story about how, I must have got murdered by somebody. Meanwhile, nope. I'm just missing two fingers, living my life down in Cozumel, Mexico on the beach with my ScarJo clone. Okay, guys, but the point being, the bigger problem is the debris is too far away. So here's an image I want to bring up. Actually, Matt, I need to get the image from Matt. Matt's producer found a better image just there while we were sitting there live than I even have. He had one where I think it had the debris overlaid over the top. Basically, it consolidated two of my images down to one. Look, guys. I understand basic physics, chat. A little more than basic physics, even. And I'm looking at a debris drift analysis based on the ocean currents, which do not change, based on a crash on the 7th arc. which is where the satellite pings say the plane crashed. So this is a map of where the satellite pings say the plane crashed, close to the blue area. And I'm supposed to figure out where the debris could have gone. Now, the red one is 2 years. 2 years, chat. 2 years, 2. And the question here, how did the debris get to Africa? I'm looking at the map, and you're telling me you found debris within 12 to 18 months. And all of it was in Africa. And the official search didn't find any of it. All random people, so far away that it was way, way outside the official search zone. Why did no debris wash ashore in Western Australia? I mean, just look at the map. No debris washed ashore in Western Australia from a Boeing 777 crashing into the ocean. Not one seat cushion. Impossible, right? And there's people out here really trying to speculate and talk about like this dude's studying like ocean topography to figure out the perfect spot to crash the plane into the ocean in the South Indian Ocean where no one will ever find it in this hole at the bottom of the ocean. I'm going to perfectly crash the plane on it and perfectly land the plane on the ocean in the middle of the you know, of the waves and what have you on these like huge swells. What? Chat, what? It's crazy talk, chat. Okay. I don't want to. I want to see it. Was any of this talk about science here? Let me see. Away. So it's clear that they actually abused him in pretrial detainment. Like he's recorded saying that he was mistreated. These goon squad people with like, yeah. So this is the whole story of it. So he's talking about Edward Lynn, he being me. Oh, okay. Let's watch this clip. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Also, how good do I look with this big Hodge Twins sign right next to me? That Hodge Twins pod sign looks so good. It was funny because Joe and I were talking, like Joe and the twins were talking in the beginning, like, why does he get the twins sign? It looks way better than the other sign. Okay, this is busted. What's going on here?
You do many.
So here, right. These orbs are. I mean, I just call them orbs because that's how you would talk to, like, you know, anybody who doesn't understand what we're looking at, because it looks like a sphere of energy when we look at these videos. And this here is the drone video. This is some kind of MQ-1 Reaper drone or MQ-1C with an aerial surveillance package underneath the wings. And you can tell that the operator here, like, this is accurate camera shake. It increases when they're zooming in here. The operator's even struggling to keep the plane in focus. And this would be because of the lag with respect to like the operators in a remote location.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a lag there. Now, when this zooms in, you're going to see this very distinct heat signature on these orbs. You can actually already see these dark lines.
Yes.
These dark lines are in front of the orbs. That's a huge key that what we're looking at here is not conventional propulsion at all. And when you see this field around these orbs with this heat signature, you can tell right away that we're not looking at like a metallic structure. This is like a field around something. Now, what I've come to realize is this is something called an exotic vacuum object. This is made, this was discovered by somebody named Ken Shoulders. He was an engineer who worked with like, worked on inventing microelectronics and like some really advanced technology back in like, I want to say the 60s. Richard Feynman, who of the Manhattan Project, ended up having to apologize to Ken Shoulders because he thought that this idea of these exotic vacuum objects wasn't possible. This state of plasma where they form these self-regulating, self-sustaining structures.
Yeah. Sorry. What the hell is that?
Yeah. So what we're looking at right here is a wormhole. This is the first ever. You should have let me cook right there, but that's fine. These guys really think I'm bullshitting. You know, it's weird. Like, how do you hear what God, man, I have another fly in my place. How do you How can people think that I'm bullshitting making this up? How could anyone even make this up? How could anyone even make up this science? I'm not making up any of the science. Science is just all out there. I just happened to discover that it perfectly matches what I was looking for on these videos. Yeah, and while I'm doing this and finishing this clip, if someone can find the Stan Deyo video, there's a video of Stan Deyo talking, and I found it. Never mind. Staring at it right here. Literally just staring at it. Okay. We're gonna watch some Stan Deyo here in a second, but let's finish this out. So this was good. I actually liked. I didn't realize that I like wrapped up all the MH370 stuff in like 20 minutes, and then went into like the physics and the science of it for like the rest of the time. And I think I did a pretty good job. Let's just finish this up. Ever wormhole that's ever been visualized on, as far as I can tell, in sci-fi or in real life.
Black hole.
Why is it black like that? Yeah, because this is cold. This is thermal, and we can tell based on the engine. So this is
extremely cold.
Yeah, this is an endothermic event. An exothermic event would be an explosion. So that was interesting that the twins figured out right here. That's cold, right? Like these guys are veterans. They're older than I am. I'll say that. I don't want to hate on them, but so they looked at this and they realized, oh, that's cold. That was a super smart observation by the twins. I'm going to talk to PhD physicists, and they're not going to make as an astute an observation as that. I'm going to be talking to some of these normie. Like if I talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's going to look at that and go, I was playing Call of Duty. Or he's going to make a Call of Duty joke or something like that. Instead, these guys are like, huh, that's cold. Yep, it's cold. First ever endothermic event. So if this was an explosion, we'd expect to see this white hot, you know, and a release. This is an absorption of energy as opposed to a release of energy. And this is where physics starts to come into play, where you start to realize that what we perceive in our universe as an empty vacuum, you know, of space is not actually empty. Like we are sitting in a sea of energy. Imagine being on top of this sea of energy. And in that case, what is it that we're looking at here? We're looking at an extraction of that energy, like lowering the water level of that energy. So this is the part that these videos end up showing physics that mainstream physics doesn't understand. Like Einstein's equations say you can, and like Dirac's theory of the sea of energy show that you can have negative energy levels, but everybody thinks of negative energy as this exotic, misty purple substance when that's not what it is at all. It's really just a matter of looking at like we are in this equilibrium of energy. Like if you were to get in the bathtub and you get to a point where you don't feel the hot or the cold in the bathtub anymore, but it's still hot. If somebody else were to touch it, they would feel it being hot. That's the reason why we don't feel that energy all around us, but it's there.
Got a new giveaway. You asked for it.
Ba-boom. So that last part is my favorite part there. That's the most important part. It's weird because it comes down, and I didn't plan it to be this way at all because this has just been an organic investigation, but it doesn't require actually doing any new math. Like the people have already done the math to unify quantum mechanics and general relativity. They've already done the math. They showed that the idea of 0-point energy matches our observations. And this is where Sabine Hassenfelder jumped in and said, oh, but you're just using this idea of an ether as a catch-all. And if you just define it as a catch-all, then, you know, of course you're always right. Well, not really. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're looking at the same physics through a slightly different lens. We're looking at the same physics we've been pointing out, but we're saying, hey, remember this thing, negative energy, that your math says should exist, but you can't really figure it out? Well, it does exist. Not everything is visible to us that exists out there. We have multiple senses. Eyes are one very powerful one, but even they are limited to a very narrow spectrum. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah. Yeah, I also highly recommend checking out Matt's show, his other guest guys. If you're asked to go on, I would definitely pick up on the chance to do so. Good host, and I could see his thing kind of taking off. He's been talking to a lot of the kind of cosmic summit type people that are out there. And if you wonder why I'm stalling here, it's because I just wanted to show this image that I was super happy with that I just got texted to me. Okay, here we go. And I was trying to think if I was missing any congressmen, but I think I hit them all. Okay, yeah, this one's great. Oh, man, look at this one. So you can see the Reunion Island on this one. I love this graph. You can see the Reunion Island, which is the closest piece of debris that was found, is still, even on this one, 24 months. It's beyond 24 months, even on this graph. The closest piece of debris. There it is. This just proves. I don't know where he found this. BBC, apparently. Can nobody read a graph? Like, why is it that people don't understand that the debris cannot have washed ashore in Africa? Like, this debris washes ashore in Africa, guys. Mainland Africa. Not even like the Reunion Island, just one piece. At what point? At some point, we got to be like, oh, okay. It didn't crash in the South Indian Ocean, right? At some point, we got to be like, yep, just didn't crash in the South Indian Ocean. I mean, that's like a really, really, really far drift. And drift stuff like this isn't even very accurate either. But like what I can tell is that debris should have washed ashore in Australia. 100%. Should have washed ashore in Australia. That's what I take away from this drift analysis here. It doesn't really matter where it crashes. Anywhere along that thing, there should be debris in Australia. So, yes, the best graph, guys. We have the best graphs now because we are cooking. Okay. So, again, my prediction is that it's going to be a lot of nothing. Why? Because we've kind of figured out not only the UFO disclosure stuff, there's these balls of energy that we've got that the government's figured out. They're free energy. It's cold fusion. It is the ability to manifest elements. And it's being used already. And it's being weaponized. And also all these disclosure advocates have been like intentionally avoiding talking about it. Like, there's not a lot to take from other than the fact that they're like literally intentionally avoiding talking about the technology. Other than to say like, they'll be like, oh, the technology is great. You're like, it's great. I mean, does it get from one star system to the next? Does it get from one galaxy to the next? Does it go to other universes? It's great. They have great technology. Okay, but how does it work? Where's the energy coming from? Technology is great. It's like, it doesn't matter how advanced the civilization is. Anything they understand about nature, we can understand about nature. That's why it's physics. Physics just us understanding the universe. And the best part is people talk about the teleportation tech. I can list like 4 different people off the top of my head. I think Danny Sheehan, Stephen Greer was talking about it. There was some kind of whistleblower guy that never gave his full name like a year ago that went on like Project Unity and somebody else that was talking about teleportation tech as well. And Hal Puthoff, let's say. Or, one of those other guys. There's a bunch of other disclosure people. So yeah, there's quite a few people have talked about teleportation in the past, but not quite in the same ways that I've been talking about it. Okay, next thing, guys. So yeah, I think that nothing's going to probably come from it until we start asking the right questions. Again, guys, the right question is, where's the energy coming from? Not how many types of aliens are there, whatever. Those are fun questions. Those are fun. That's like asking me what my favorite flavor of ice cream is. Hey, Ashton, what's your favorite alien? Oh, well, my favorite alien is the blue one that comes from the sea planet. And its parents left it when it was like 3 years old and had to fend for itself. And it lived a very disadvantaged upbringing, but now it's like totally turned it around. That's my favorite one. You know it's coming too, chat. You know it's coming. And we need to figure out how to flip the script. So we have to come up with smart questions that we can use, that we can ask people. Because here's another question, guys. The where's the energy source question is so smart. Why? Because you can ask this to Hal Puthoff. You can ask Hal Puthoff, what's the energy source on these UFOs? And how is he going to respond? What's he going to say? He's either going to say it's 0-point energy, or he's going to say, I can't talk about that. Either way, we get confirmation. We get confirmation that's the answer. If you can't talk about it, that also gives us a lot of information. What's the power source? And we can come up with other questions as well, guys. Other questions as well. Let's see. Just a quick reminder, November 24th, Salvatore Paez interview. I need to send him the invite. He likes to have his invites several weeks in advance. But it's coming up soon, guys. So you can tell right away if you ask somebody what the energy source is for the little UFO. And depending on how they respond, you can tell if they're full of shit or not. Because pretty much any energy source is going to lead back to free energy. So if they're right, it's going to lead back to free energy. And if they're just making up some nonsense, it probably won't. Okay. Yep, 24th. So check out Hodge Twins podcast. Check out Matt's podcast. If you want, I'm going to post a link to the podcast where it's not like about Congressman Burleson, but Congressman Burleson gets brought up a couple times just because we talk about the UFO hearings and a lot of that stuff. I did a deep dive with a radio personality. I think they must be based out of Missouri, I assume. So check out that podcast. I think it's called it's James Clary for Jarrett Clarification, I think is what it's called. So check out that one as well, guys. Now, we're not done yet. Now we're going to go take a look at a little bit of Stan Deyo for tonight. Not going to watch this whole thing. I'm going to kind of skip through it because I have timestamps somewhere, but I can't find them, chat. So we're going to freeball this, chat. We're freeballing it. Okay, so this is a Stan Deyo thing. I think I saw. Okay, let's watch this.
Keeper. And he did it even from his son until the day that he died. As it turns out, Colonel Harrison was outside the back of his apartment, slipped and fell and hurt.
Okay, I don't care about that. I don't want stories.
And I'm going to show you some of those things as best I could recreate them.
So I think he does the intro, but he talks about the physics here in a second. Let's see. So this is Stan Deyo. If somebody knows his history or something like that or whatever, can you tell us? Stan, what was he famous for knowing or doing or whatever?
What I was shown inside the organization. Certainly there were some technologies, and probably still are some remaining, that we were not able to back engineer, but some very interesting things did surface.
Huh. So right there, that was interesting. He said, certainly there were some things we were not able to back engineer, but there were some things that did surface. Okay, chat, I should probably be making notes here. Because one thing, to figure out exactly how much we know and how much we don't know, we're probably going to have to figure out where this came from. If we really did, we're gonna have to probably assume a few scenarios and try to figure out which scenario makes the most sense retroactively. Like if we did crash some UFOs and then reverse engineer them or whatever, like how does that story play out and how does that lead to where we're at right now? My guess is odds are that's probably the highest odds, but there's a lot of options in play.
Noise level, yeah, we don't want that. Okay. Now, to help you understand gravity, I'm doing this for a reason. There have been people that have talked about anti-gravity, some magic thing and this kind of stuff, and it's a very simple thing in concept. But I'm going to use graphics and some animations and some films of some of the tests we've done to explain gravity to you. So you understand then how anti-gravity can be made and was made, and will not be surprised when you see this upon you shortly out in the open.
Okay, so this is a great intro here. If somebody's explaining gravity to you, good sign. Why? Because like nobody understands gravity. Nobody really understands gravity. I mean, people do, but like a very, very, very realize that in America, 20% of people can't read. 20% of adults in America cannot read. You heard me. Are illiterate, cannot read. Do you think they understand gravity? Hell no. It might be like 1% of people or less understand gravity. So when somebody's coming in and they're explaining gravity to begin with, they're setting the foundation for like, hey, what even is gravity?
Open. There is a real severe deception in the works, not entirely mankind's doing. Remember me telling you about noise level, guy out fishing and seeing the vortex and the little spin and stuff. What we see here is just a simple water drop. But I've put this up to show you how when the water drops, it splashes out, makes a large radius first ring, then smaller ones out like that. And then the reflection of its splash pops up a ball in the air like that. Okay, big deal, you've seen that. Now, what happens next is you will see if you take one splash, it sets almost equally spaced crowns out like this. These are inertial things formed by water pressing on itself to make little beadlets out here like one single drop would do. This happens usually on a flat surface instead of a deep amount of water. Now, for the astronomers in the crowd, what we see here is a splash which can represent the sun. Then there's the first orbit of some planet, and the second and the third. But if you're an astronomer, you notice that those rings, the radii of them, do not match our planets. You think, well, this couldn't be explaining gravity in orbits of planets. But it does. Because in space, you don't have an infinite pond where the ripples just go out and don't come back. Space has mass and resistance. It's like a very fine fluid. It's so fine that atoms are made up of a lot of it. It's called ether space in James Clerk Maxwell's day last, or century before last. And we have returned to that understanding of the way the world works. When you take a bucket of paint, thick paint, and you put your paint stirrer on your drill and you stick it down in and spin it around, it will make circular waves go out and hit the edge of the paint.
Ether space, guys. See, so many people have figured it out. So many, because it's not that complicated. It's obvious in retrospect. Space is a medium. We're in a medium. That's why we see ripples. That's why we see waves. That's why there's gravity waves. We're in a medium. Once they started saying we detected gravity waves, people should have started freaking out because general relativity was effed. Gravity waves need a medium, guys. Waves need a medium.
Bucket and then come back to your spinning paint stirrer, your little rod. If you spin it at the right speed for that can, the wave will go out, reflect back in just in time to be in phase with the next spin wave coming out from your spinning rod. This is called standing waves or harmonics. When that happens, then the spacing.
Wait, standing waves are harmonics? Damn, chat. I need to be better at music. So I was really on point. When I called them superconductive harmonic orbs, that's exactly what the orbs in the MH370 videos are. Superconductive harmonic orbs. Superconductive harmonic orbs. Yeah. They're standing waves.
Of the rings changes. And when it does, you can have a planet and a moon, like the Earth and the moon right there, following this particular orbit. Notice how there are bands of orbits. We have those in our own solar system, the Jovian lighter density planets like Jupiter and Saturn, where they have a large mass hump like this. That would be out in this area here. Here, down in our zone, is a different set of rings, but they all have a bottle of Coca-Cola. I've developed a process of generating planets and stars with sound waves. That's not exactly correct. As I showed you earlier with the drops, splashes, when a drop is formed up like that and spins like that in the air, it is spinning. It is convecting like a mushroom cloud around an atom bomb. You don't see it here, but that little drop of Coca-Cola there is spinning like that at high speed. But if you do nothing except generate that and then stand back from the Coke bottle, about 15, 20 seconds later, it will just reabsorb into the surface, pop, and disappear. But if you add sound to it, which we'll show you in a minute, you can keep reinforcing that spin and have it there indefinitely as a planet or a star or just a bubble on a Coke bottle, whatever you want to call it. But this is showing the same effect Einstein's equations predicted about the warping of the time-space fabric. That's the best way they could describe it.
Yes, sound is interesting as well. What is sound exactly? It's perturbation through the medium of air, or causing like a force. Pretty interesting, because sound is the other thing that can seemingly produce what we would what would seem to be anti-gravity theoretically. Yeah, pressure mediation. So if everything really is pressure mediation, as Ken Wheeler would say, then that would explain waves, right? Like waves are pressure mediation that you're seeing happen. And that's the same thing gravity is. Gravity is just a pressure mediation that's happening.
But you are seeing here, you're actually seeing it. Instead of an equation, you're seeing it. See what I'm saying? All right. Now, I'll pause on this for about 10 seconds. Yeah, okay. And of the equation, definitely not the equation for our solar system, but close. Okay? All right. I got to cheat here for a minute. Where is my...
These droplets look very similar to Harold Sonny White's warp drive stuff. That's what I was trying to get to here, but I guess he's not going to talk about it. They look like bending space-time. That's what they're trying to do, basically.
Added together and form that big hump. I'll do that one more time. The two waves add to form a taller hump than the first one. Okay? This is wave addition. Now here are those equations in moving form. The bottom ones are the two reference ones, so the divergent, convergent, and the one in the middle, or the one at the top, the yellow one, is the resulting orbits, which can be vastly different than a normal series progression or exponent or hyperbolic curve. Let me just do this again. Look at this. See these ripples here. Now here is one that's only about 9/10 separated from that by its frequency. And this would be the sun in the center, and these would be orbits of planets. Well, now, here you see two humps. They're not quite surface, and a little tiny one coming in, and then suddenly bouncing away like... And this is generating one of those balls. It'll pop up here in the lower right corner. Notice in this, that would be the sun, and this would be a planet. What is happening is the speaker...
Yeah, we're going to watch this cymatic thing, guys. This is going to be dope.
Got on the table. You'll see that in a second as it moves down the shot. The speaker is generating a wave in the side of the bottle that is reinforcing this one here and keeping it alive. It is feeding it inertia, waves, like planets get fed. And this is generating one of those balls. It'll pop up here in the lower right corner. Okay.
Wait,
there's no
what?
magic to gravity. It is a wave in the side of the bottle that is reinforcing this one here and keeping it alive. It is feeding it inertia, waves, like planets get fed. And this is generating one of those balls. It'll pop up here in the lower right corner.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, chat, that was wild. You see that? Little bubble just appeared and was coherent along the surface of the vibrating liquid. That was really interesting. Wow. People speculate that's how the moon was made. Huh. Kind of won me over. Everything is waves, huh? Everything's waves. That's bizarre. Yeah, were they doing parametric oscillations? Maybe. I don't know. The point there, guys, was that waves add together. Waves add together. He's got some better stuff. We're going to skip past all this stuff. He's trying to explain his model of the universe. Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. I think he might be explaining it here. Maybe not.
Those were spinning in the same direction, but they'll bounce apart. Look at that again. Both spinning in the same direction, but in between them, no. However, there's a trick to this. The gap theory. Nothing to do with Genesis, but anyway. Okay, if you space them correctly, they will actually lock together with a common shared vortex in between them like that. Watch that again. Now, it's fairly unstable with just two of them like this, because they tend to kind of orbit. Okay? Now, if I let them freewheel in space, two ships using that, this is what they'll do. They'll spin around and you have a hard time controlling them. So we go to a stable form, which is 3 and more in triangular additions. Okay? They will lock together. They won't go any closer, like a flock of birds. They will lock together like that in those formations. Now, you've seen reports or films or movies even showing UFOs gathering like this and locking together like a flock of birds, even in the 50s over the White House. This is why they did that, because it is efficient. And as they get together in triangular pieces and make bigger and bigger formations, it is easier for them to conserve energy, to communicate with each other, because the fields between them, the vibrating fields, are mechanical, and you can talk between the ships without going to radio just by using the vibration in the field.
What? I'm not sure I really understand his example there, but I do understand that 3 is more stable than 2. Like, he kind of brushes over that pretty quickly. This was actually what I wanted to see. 34 minutes. That was wild. So where is it here?
Okay? They will lock together. They won't go any closer, like a flock of birds. They will lock together like that in those formations.
That is wild. So 3 and 6 is the number. So 3 and 6. Because it forms a perfect triangle. 3 is the simplest, right? They're going to lock together. They get some kind of resonance going on, and then they're just locked together. Huh. There's something else here, chat. I'm going to point out something for you guys. If you're somebody who wants to find something out, there's something here to be found out. I feel it in my bones. The question, we're getting mystified by the puppet. The puppeteer here is, how are these things locked into orientation like this? How are they locked in like this? And this video is a massive clue. Why? Because we see they come in one at a time. So we know they can fly independently. But here's the other clue. You're about to see it right here. The second orb, watch it. It goes immediately into formation. It locks in. And then the third orb comes flying in and goes directly into orientation, like they're communicating with each other. That wouldn't be possible because we see the first one struggle. The first one doesn't immediately lock into orientation. This is a massive clue. The fact that the first one spins around the plane one time right here, wait for it, spins around the plane one time, then locks in on the plane. Target acquisition, exactly. What is the secret of this, though? What is the software or whatever that's doing this? And what is it locked to that it's able to create these formations like that? Is there some kind of like universal harmonic resonance that's tapped into here? It does kind of feel like that. If so, it would be equivalent of like the universal commercial, the universal channel that everybody watches. Like that's what it would be equivalent of. Pretty weird. Think pinch to zoom. Maybe. Okay. Let's go back to that. This is why I'm at the forefront of disclosure, guys. I mean, it's not a matter of ego. It's just the reality of it. If there was anybody else who was really on the cutting edge like this, I would give them credit. If you ask me who's the closest, I mean, look, this will prove that I don't have any hatred towards anyone. Dark Journalist is probably the closest. Probably. If Dark Journalist actually bothered to try to understand the science, he probably would be me. Probably. I don't really watch his stuff, though, so I would never wear suits like that. I mean, I would wear suits. I'm just not going to, be a cornball about it. Next best, maybe Jay of Project Unity. My favorites, if we're just handing out awards to people, Tupacabra and Red Panda. I like those guys, even though we don't necessarily agree on everything, but I just like those guys. They're fun. There you go. Okay, everybody else is a bitch. Just kidding. Just kidding. Relax. This is wild that he's talking about this.
Now,
look at that.
You've seen reports or films or movies even showing.
How does he know that? I want to know how he knows that.
3 hours sitting here with a hot air balloon. Well, that's different. That's specific gravity. That has nothing to do with this. I said, well, now why does that balloon float? Because the hydrogen gas in it is less dense but more energetic per particle. Yeah. Okay, so in other words, if I could magically generate a field in and around a craft using normal air or something else that was just like hydrogen but contained, then I could float that thing there because the energy's not going anywhere. It's contained in the field. I had one guy get some picked chalk off his desk and threw it at me and stomped out the door.
That really sums it up. It's really as simple as buoyancy, right? As simple as buoyancy. So if I make a region of space-time that's less dense, less energy in it, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to that region of space-time? Is it going to be like a negative energy? Why does Ken Shoulders have a scientific paper called Permittivity Transitions? The transition between one region of permittivity to the next. For the people that don't know, the answer is because he understands that space is a medium and that therefore there's a refraction index of the medium, bending light. Very important to understand. Yeah, you could say that we are in like an energy bubble. You could say that, you could say a lot of things, but in general, space is not empty is the most important one. Yeah, I was waiting for a big poo comment. What would happen of this could change our inherent human buoyancy? Think Herculean strength. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sure, man, sure. I mean, free energy and cloning people, we can do a lot of crazy shit.
But it's there. That's the truth. Now, so when you see a large ship, if you do, I mean a large ship like half a mile diameter or something, and you have an engineer tell you, It can't be real. If it is, it's not from around here because, you know, half a mile long lever arm on a wing or a portion of it, if that thing moved up and down like that, it'd rip the thing apart just from, you know, the lever action on the joints. What they haven't considered, very simple point, what I showed you there with those, the saucers gathering together to make a bigger craft, each one of them still has its own local gravity. And the stretch would only be 30, 40, 50 feet, and we do more than that on a standard airliner wing. So when you have gravitational posts all through this immense structure, and it's all linked together, and the command pilot that's linked them all together and firing the system, everything accelerates uniformly. There's no big drama. There's no heavy torque on the joints. It is possible, and within the realm of modern physics. It's just that you didn't see how Houdini did it, and that's what we're.
Wow. Wow, chat. I mean, why do I like Stan Deyo? Because he's talking about the science. He's talking about the physics. He does look a little bit like Matt Rife. Matt Rife in the house. If you're in the house, Matt Rife. Looks like you, chat. Chat looks like Matt Rife. There we go. Fixed it. How Houdini did it. How's Houdini pulling it off? And so he's talking too about that these physicists would get so angry at him because, well, their lives were a lie. But here's the good news, scientists and STEM advocates. All your lives are a lie. Ha, 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 ha. All your lives are a lie. No, but seriously, they're all a lie. We are basically just cavemen still, just trying to figure it out. And people are going to look back at us in like 100 years and look at us like primitives because we are. So live for the moment and don't bother worrying about what you don't understand. There you go. Something like that.
We're playing with. Some will be real and some will be a Trojan horse, I'm sure. And this is what you would probably see. That was neat. Got to have one. As Will Smith said, I think, what was it in the 4th of...
Close, Stan Deos, close, but not quite. This is what you'd see. We've upgraded in the last 30 years. Man, that's wild.
To July, I've got to get me one of these. In Batman, did he? Okay. In the late 50s, in Strategic Air Command, there was a friend of mine who was a colonel. He became a friend of mine later. Colonel in the Air Force, and he was a commander of a SAC aircraft, a bomber aircraft. And Colonel Dice had a navigator on board that he knew quite well. Younger fellow, obviously, captain, I think. And one day the captain came to me and says, Colonel, he says, look, I'm going to give you a sealed envelope here, and I want you to hold it.
Okay, that's enough of this. Let's look at this toroid thing.
On particle board. 15-degree spacing as we twisted the various layers. Going up the rod in the center, we have this one here and this one here. What he did was he used pulsed direct current to generate a spinning vortex right here in the fabric of space, if you wish, into the ether space. I'm going to show you how that works in the next animation. But this, I promise you, is a 30-foot diameter craft drive coil. It produces a number of very interesting effects on the crew and the surrounding area by altering time. It's not a time machine. It just simply means that for people inside the field at various positions from the center and out, time passes at a different rate. While I'm on that subject very quickly.
You see what he just said right there? I made a post the other night about people not understanding time travel, and it got like 250,000 views. Didn't expect that, but I should have. I forget that we're primitives. So for one, time travel does not work how it works in science fiction. You change the rate of time, but for every person, you're still going normal speed. That should be weird enough for you guys to question your reality. That alone should be. Then he says using a pulse current to generate a vortex in ether space. Exactly. What are we trying to do, chat? Look at it like this. There's another dimension out there. We can't see it, but we know it's there from experimental proof. Experimental proof is Casimir effect, Lamb shift, Ehrenhoff-Bohm effect. A lot of other stuff shows there's a medium there. So how do we interact with it? Well, we know if we spin a copper coil through a magnetic field, power generates. Neat. What if we try something else? What if we make a vortex? What if we make a reverse drain? Or if we make a drain? We want to make a drain from that extra dimension, right? We have to think outside of the box on this. It's local time. And in this case, it shouldn't matter where we are because it's an extra dimension that's all around us everywhere. So we can be anywhere. That's one benefit. But we also notice that the spinning magnetic field creates power too. We saw that. So spinning seems to make a lot of sense as well. Toroidal shapes also seem to come up many times in this as well. We also saw Eugene Plotkinov and Ning Li on their anti-gravity research using superconductors spinning as well. So vortexes do, you spin something, you make a little tornado, you make a vortex. It's not that complicated. Okay, someone wants me to go to 5140. Okay, let's skip ahead because I don't know how long we're going to go tonight.
Electric arc welder. That's a 100 amp diode down there, which turns the alternating current into one direction, direct current. And there's the magic nail that goes down through the cork. I forget what we made that out of, but it was something that didn't feel set up. And this occurs down the center of any of those craft.
Oh, you guys aren't watching. This is why magnetohydrodynamics is so important.
Next time you're sitting next to somebody blowing smoke rings, witness a miracle. The smoke ring can do some marvelous things. If you stand here in this room and put up, say, an elephant ear plant back there, those big green ears floating like that, or a lit candle, and you went as hard as you could huff and puff, you could not blow out the candle or move the big elephant ear back there, the plant. Yet, if you take a device that makes a smoke ring and you use the same amount of energy, probably less, and you aim it back there and you go like that, that little ring of energy, the same amount that you would have blown out and lost into oblivion out here, same amount in a tight little package goes right over there and blows out a candle or moves that target elephant ear like that. Now, in this test here, I've used slow speed, and some of it I've done some time lapse or some slow-mo camera stuff. But watch, as you see there, there's a smoke ring on the right, but behind it from the inside is a long cylinder of smoke. These craft that we're talking about, this technology, and a number of other technologies that they use, including plasma beams, all rely on what you're going to see here. This is a wrinkle. A smoke ring is not a series of spinning, things around this point here. It is a wrinkle like you would put in a carpet by doing that and making a wave go through the carpet, except it's in 3 dimensions and wrapped around. So as a result, when a smoke ring moves through the clear air, it absorbs clear air on the periphery of it in a layer that goes into the inside and then does a reversal like yin and yang and comes out pushing smoke ahead of it. And so a shell of smoke, a pipe, comes out the back. These things here are a rough approximation of what makes an atom or an electron. They are not particles. They are waves in a medium. All right.
So I already forgot. The smoke ring analogy is really interesting because the smoke rings, there's something weird going on with smoke rings. They have this weird vortex nature to them. If you guys were not familiar, then I wonder if I'm going to get copyright strike for these smoke rings. Smoke disturbance original. What does this do? The smoke rings shoot a toroidal ring formation out, and then they create small rings perpendicular to the direction. So if the toroid is going like this, then the next toroid shoots out like this upward. Anyway, and he's saying there that if you have a concentrated flow on your smoke ring, you can blow something out that's really far away. This is analogous to the idea of you can get electricity to move from one location to the next location. Energy. And I appreciate the other interview. Maybe we'll take a look at it another time. But tonight, we're going to hit the end of this. Let's see if there's anything else that's relevant here. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted.
I have made them bounce off each other like particles, shooting them rapidly so that they hit and bounce off of tables and still keep their shape. These are why scientists think that light acts like a particle and like a wave. And so physicists say, well, let's call it a wavicle. It's because it has periodic motion, yet it defines a very tight field like a particle would. This is a device that I use to do the rest of what you're going to see here. It's a plastic pipe, plexiglass pipe, and I've just made it so it'll make smoke rings with a piece of shower cap stuck on the back as a rubber membrane, and I pull it and pop it loose, and I get 70 to 90 miles an hour out of the little donut. Same thing you can do. You're going to see here in a bright section where I have a smoke cloud, an oil vapor cloud, and I shoot a clear air toroid through it, and you'll see a perfect black, subtle, perfect circle go through it. This is why when UFOs go through clouds or various other things, you see nothing. They open it up like the mitral valve in a heart. They go like that, and they just cut a hole and close it right behind them. They don't make any swish, any wake, nothing. No sound wave, no sound barrier. That's because of what you're seeing here.
Chat, no sound wave, no sound barrier. These things act very weird. This is where it's like, this is why it looks like the plane just disappears. This is why they can disturb the smoke, but they can potentially not be impacted by it. Pretty bizarre stuff. We still don't know if the orbs, the EVOs themselves, are still the same as what people were saying. Stuff is like flying saucers could still be another splinter thing. Who knows?
Now watch closely. It's subtle. Did you see it?
Yeah. So
didn't see my hand move, did you? Right in the center, down the bottom. There you go. You see? Oh, yeah. See, now I've slowed it up so you can see how I've reversed it back and forth. Watch how it acts like a valve. Okay. A couple more just to show you. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. In fact, when I fired these things across the room like that, I've had candles 30 feet away over on this side here, because candle flame is very sensitive, to motion. And I'll have the candle flame over there and shoot that way. And as the donut passes like this, the candle flame goes and bows toward the donut passing. The shock wave is there, but the energy stays in the center. A very, very efficient thing. Now, here's that mitral valve thing I was talking about. Clear one going through like that. See how it cuts a perfect hole?
That one,
a ship
right
like that. It does that with gravity. It does it with clouds. It does it with water.
You can see how it's actually just like distorting. Like you can see the movement of the smoke. Like we can see it, right? Some people ask, like, why does it look like? Why can you see the displacement of the smoke? This is actually the video I think about, actually, right here. Where I just mess up.
30 feet away over on this side here, because candle flame is very sensitive, to motion. And I'll have the candle flame over there and shoot that way. And as the donut passes like this, the candle flame goes and bows toward the donut passing. The shock wave is there, but the energy stays in the center. A very, very efficient thing. Now, here's that mitral valve thing I was talking about. Clear one going through like that. See how it cuts a perfect hole?
Oh, I love that. 56. Yeah, I like that because you can see it go.
I was talking about clear one going through
smoke.
Like that.
But it's
see
like
how it cuts a perfect hole
through it. Like wow,
you have a ship like that. It does that with gravity. It does it with clouds. It does it with water. Fascinating, isn't it?
That looks just.
So what
like
do we do in
how
the evenings at home?
Like that looks just like how the orbs look. And that's how these orbs look. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Well, we're going to watch that for a second until I find the other one. That's how these things look while they're just flying through the sky. And they're just like displacing space-time. Yeah, it's a coherent wave traveling through the medium. Yeah, Jamal, I don't know where you came from, Jamal, but you've been on point, brother. You've been on point. Okay. Interesting.
I'll tell you what, my wife is going to kill me if I keep playing with that Coke bottle, because sometimes on the computer I'll take a ruler off. What you're going to see is a page of my notes here. which show what I was drawing what I was being shown, with the top off of the 30-foot diameter craft and with one of the sections removed so I could see inside the inductor. And this is what I put down on paper that day.
So he saw this and wrote a bunch of stuff down. So he noticed a toroidal shape for sure. It's always multiples of 3. So the people that are my 369ers in the chat, what up? My 369ers in the chat, you always see multiples of 3 for some reason. I've even started thinking in multiples of 3 as opposed to like using like the 1 and 10 system, as I call it.
I had correspondence and talked with a man named Townsend Brown, and also got a hold of his lab film from the Bonson Corporation, 1958. I have one of the only 2 copies in existence. And I discussed the Philadelphia experiment and a number of other things with Dr. Brown when he was in Catalina Island, California, before he died. Townsend filmed here was at the Bonson Corporation in Salem. And at that time, he was trying to generate anti-gravity using the Byfield-Brown effect.
Okay, chat. Now I'm really interested. Let's go full screen here, guys. Philadelphia experiment. Stan Deyo talked to Thomas Townsend Brown firsthand. This is his account.
He had failed to understand that you have to recirculate your wake like a smoke ring. So he was trying to do brute force, as many of them are still trying to do. But with a smoke ring and with charged particles, if I push out this way and the wake of my pushing comes around behind me into my intakes and adds to my energy, I use a lot less energy to go forward. In fact, it's like going, I reckon it's like going into a saloon bar in the Wild West. Break your boots and your guns, and you come up to the saloon door, it's packed. Hello! Bar, I'm here. And you shove the door up, you're going to get a little resistance. But if you come up to the thing and you open the doors back this way, excuse me, fellas, could I just move in here? No resistance in essence, and you get in. So what you do is you make a place for yourself in the air or in a gravitational field. Before you get there, you scoop out a hole, you put yourself in it, and it closes behind you, and there's no pushing weight, there's no sound barrier, there's no light barrier, in fact. We can go many times the speed of light using this concept in space.
Wow. Wow. This is the reason, chat. Why do the orbs have this heat signature? Won't disappear just yet. It's quite a few frames we can see the heat signature, but that one within that one right there is this should be the famous one right here. This is the famous frame, chat, as I call it. Look at that orb and look at that heat signature. Look at how fucking clear that is. Look at that. That heat signature right there, this image right here is worth $1 trillion. Remember what he just said. He's basically saying you want to recycle the energy. You use the energy in front of you, and what he means here is if you're making a warp drive, you pull the energy out in front of you and you push it, you drop it off behind you. What's this going to do? Accelerate you. It's going to accelerate you. So when you use negative energy, you're pulling the energy out. And then what's happening here is we can see the hot part, pushing it. And he's saying, reuse your energy so that the energy is umbrellaing back towards the center again. That's what it looks like to me, at least. It looks like the hotter part is making an umbrella formation. It's hitting the non-radiating barrier, and it's coming back. It's not breaking the transition to break out of the permittivity. So going to permittivity transitions here, it's like the electrons can't break free from that non-radiating barrier, and then they rain back down upon probably where the point of fusion is happening. And then the cycle repeats. Incredible. What up, Billy? Yeah, like cavitation. I think that's what's happening inside the orbs. But when you're trying to use it for propulsion, the idea is you scoop out what's in front of you and you throw it behind you. Why? Because that's going to propel you forward. You want more energy behind you and you want less in front of you. That will cause you to go forward because it'll create pressure.
Brown tried a toroid coil in his. I've got his lab notes, his books as well, lab books. Over here it was called the beta machine. This was generating his high voltage 100,000 volt charges that were generating these arcs. On this saucer here, I've held it. It was about 3 feet in diameter. This coil, he would slip on top of that, and they would put high charge through it. But it was only half of the solution. If he'd done the other coil and had known to do it, where he wrapped another coil like this and put those in phase, he would have had anti-gravity in a big way. He was that close, that close. I have a great deal of respect for the work that Dr. Brown did. And as I say, I'm privileged to have access to all of that stuff. This is some of his note work on the board for the design of the craft, some of his vacuum testing on the lower left, and some of the high voltage testing before they put the coils on the top. And that is a real deal. It's not an animation, and that was just finished last week in California by one of our associates. We are making working models of these things to show you. So it is real. You can do it.
Yeah, so I think these guys figured it out, right? Yeah, it is holy shit type info. It really is. It really, really is. I think we'll stop it there. There's more, but who cares? It really is just holy shit type info. A lot of these guys where we watch the videos of them too, these are kind of heavyweight guys. These are not random kooky scientists and things like that. A lot of these people we watch are prestigious, they're accomplished, they've done amazing stuff, guys. So it's pretty wild. So making the toroids, he says there too, Thomas Townsend Brown basically had it figured out. It sounds like he's saying he needed to do something else to make it out of phase or something like that. Opposite coils in the same phase. Yeah. Why? Because you want to cancel out your waves, because then you know what's left. Scalar potential. Opposite coil in the same phase. Now, guys, if you've been with me long enough, I've learned electrical engineering. Here we go. What do we mean, phase? Okay, chat. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. Let's teach people how phase works. Okay. Very quick, very simple, chat. We draw lines. Just draw some lines. Okay, so normal wave. Okay. Now, if we want our wave to be in phase, then our wave needs to be on top of the same line, in phase with it. Okay. Otherwise, if it's out of phase, like this blue line is, then it's going to be like this. Okay. You guys understand now? Phase. So if they're on top of each other, they're in phase. If they're not on top of each other, they're out of phase. So they can still have the same sinusoidal motion, but just not be in phase with one another. Okay. Now, actually 180 degrees out of phase is what you really want. So what do we want? What makes the magic work? 0 point makes the magic work. And it's not a surprise that it's also called 0 point again. So what is a 0 point system? Are you ready for this, guys? So let's first show the next example here, okay? So let's take our first wave. Let's make a red wave. Okay, red wave's going that way. Okay. Now our blue wave, actually, let me add this little. It's going this way, okay? It's going to the right. Now, what if I send another wave? Okay. Well, I'm not good at going to the left, chat. What if I send another wave, though, and it's going to the left, and they perfectly cancel each other out? Okay? Perfectly cancel each other out. Now, to look at it another way, you could look at it like this. You have one arrow going this way, I can't copy it. Okay. And then you have another arrow. How do I switch? How do I go the other way? Oh, wait. Going the other way. Right? So you can look at it like this as well, chat. Look at this. So this may seem silly, this may seem simplistic, but this is the ultimate truth of physics that you're looking at right here. Now, pay attention. Let's scroll down. So, you can have a 0-point system like this, because our waves are canceling each other out. So it's basically the same as two arrows just hitting each other, nothing left. You can also have a 0-point system like this. Why? Because we have arrows coming in from all directions. Oops. We can have an arrow coming in this way. We can have an arrow coming in this way. And we can have an arrow coming in this way. Do you guys understand why I push Ehrenhoff-Bohm effect so hard? This is why. The scalar potential that was left out from Maxwell's equation, or from, Maxwell's equations by Oliver Heaviside. When you're doing this here, let's say we get a straight line, because the waves cancel each other out. So we get a straight line. Sort of straight. So we get a straight line instead. But is there nothing left? No, this is still manipulating gravity. This is manipulating gravity still. Just because we have a cancellation of electric and magnetic fields doesn't mean there's nothing left. Ehrenhoff-Bohm effect showed that even in the straight line, even when you cancel out, even when you make this 0 point here, there's still potentials that are still having an effect. Longitudinal waves through the medium. This was Ashton's MS Paint. This is art. This is science. If you turn this clip into an NFT, maybe it'll be worth $1 billion in the future. Art. This is where scalar physics comes into play. This is where Tom Bearden comes into play. Because this is what Tom Bearden was trying to say. There's an extra dimension of ether. Tesla was right. It turns out if you cancel out your electromagnetic longitudinal fields, you still are left with the scalar potential. And the scalar potential cannot be ignored. The scalar potential has tremendous capability. The bottom one should look very familiar. If this bottom one doesn't look familiar to you, then you are not a 4-orbsy. You clearly don't believe in teleportation. This is how they're teleporting the plane. They're creating extremely powerful scalar potential within the well of the plane here, breaking through space-time. Electromagnetic field, too powerful, breaks through space-time. Any last questions before we call it a night, guys? Let's take a look. Does 3 arrows into triangular center make it a sphere? Your question's a little bit bigger than that, which is they're using 3 as the smallest number that you can create an object in a 2-dimensional space-time. If you just had 2 objects, you wouldn't be able to teleport a plane, right? You can circle around it, but you need 3 objects because you don't care about this. You're automatically going to create that, especially if it's a sphere. But you need to have 3 dimensions. That's the minimum requirement because we have 3 spatial dimensions. So 3 is the minimum number of orbs required, which I don't think is an accident. I'm pretty sure the people that worked on these orbs or whatever, or if they are just a product of nature, that they figured this out early on. They figured this out. That 3 is the minimum number we need. And that was what Stanley Deyo was saying there, is that two doesn't quite work. It's fine, but it doesn't really work that well. Okay. How do the smoke rings maintain their shape? That is a good question. I was thinking about the same question myself, is why are the smoke rings maintaining their shape? Why can't you blow a smoke triangle? Someone blow a smoke triangle. Smoke ring is easy, actually. And I used to think that it was based on the shape of your mouth. Not really. Not really. It's more like the universe wants to blow smoke rings. Okay. How to make Hard Truths episode happen. Soon, chat. Soon. Yeah, 3 dimensions gives you volume. You need volume. Are you interested in getting a 5-minute of a deep space fleet? I'm not interested in like lights and stuff in the sky, what have you. I'm just past that, honestly, at this point. We just moved way past that. We've just gotten to the point now where we're digging hard into the science, trying to understand the nature of the universe through the science, and trying to understand why we teleported an airliner more than anything else. Plasma clouds orbiting around Earth. No, I hadn't actually even posted on it yet. It was free engagement, and I didn't post on it. Universe wants to make smoke rings. Make a shirt. Indeed, chat. Okay, guys, I think we're going to call it there. UFOs, what's powering them? Guys, odds on what is UFOs, what is powering them, on us getting answers on Wednesday. We'll see, chat. We will see. Billy was apparently banned for spamming this, which he's doing right now in my YouTube channel, which I'm not surprised he got banned, but I still appreciate the effort, guys. Hope you guys have a great night, guys. We will talk more science on Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace, guys. Actually, just kidding. Wednesday, we're going to talk about the UFO hearing, guys. Thank you, MH370X. Love you all. Have a great night. Peace out, everyone.
Out in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeeze so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Thin shell formalism, plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow. From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night with worm